welcome to the Vintage Voice podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Rapp, and I'm here today with my co-host, Greer Albaugh.
Hello.
And we've got some amazing special guests today to talk to you about fall prevention. We have Lori Stauffer from the fire department.
Hello.
And Kristy Hahn-McDonald, Human Services Manager. So thank you guys for being here today. I was looking at some stats, and it's really crazy to think that falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in older adults, and 1 in 4 older adults over 65 are falling and injuring themselves each year. So today we're going to talk to you guys about how we can prevent that and the resources that we have in Scottsdale and all the things about fall prevention. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Before we get into everything today, could you tell us just a little bit more about your roles with the City of Scottsdale, how you came to the City of Scottsdale, and just a little bit more about your background?
Sure. I joined Scottsdale Fire Department in 2005, so I've officially been with the department for 20 years. My role is in community relations, and I deal with injury prevention and community risk reduction. Fall prevention is a huge issue for the fire department across the country. Falls are the #1 call to fire departments, and that's true for Scottsdale as well. We have 125 fall calls a week to the fire department. That equates to 5,000 calls a year. And so we are really trying to figure out how to help people not experience these things because they really can be life-changing.
Those are some crazy statistics.
Yeah, exactly.
Christine, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you came to the city?
I've been with the city since 2001, so a long time. I've been with the Human Services Department. So started out my career with the Senior Services team. I was at Granite Reef Senior Center for about 17 years. And much of what my area and work focused on, I'm in social services, but because it's a personal passion, I did a lot of health and wellness programming. And one of those areas consisted of fall prevention and working with some organizations on the Matter of Balance program. So it was a fall prevention course that we offered. And we had seniors who signed up and attended a weekly course where they learned about preventing falls. And then we did that. What was included in that was some chair exercises and things like that, and then learning some different mechanisms for how to maintain safety in your home and also remaining healthy and stable physically.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. What are some of the most common causes of falls in adults? Could one of you speak to that?
So there's a lot of different things that cause people to fall.
Sure.
Sometimes it's just our balance, which is one of those things where the physical fitness is very important. Mm-hmm. Many of the fall calls that we get from people who call us multiple times, there can be specific issues in the home. If you're falling out of your wheelchair a lot, we need to look at your wheelchair. If you're falling out of bed, then maybe we need to lower the bed or put a pivot pole in place to help you get up from there. We have a lot of falls that happen in the bathroom. That to me is probably the place where I personally would never want to have to call 911 and have help, but we do have that from people who have slipped in the shower, the tub, or on and off the toilet. So getting the mechanisms in place in order to help people stand up safely or sit down safely, and really addressing those specific issues in their homes. There's about 8 things that we know that you can fix just right off the bat that can help reduce your risk of falling.
When the fire department goes on a call for a fall and they can identify something that might need to be fixed within the home, is that something that the fire department will talk with the resident about?
They can have those conversations. Typically, it's difficult to have many of those conversations in the moment because it's an emergency. So a lot of times they will then click into the system that it's a We Care referral, which then comes to my office. We have a team that discusses what options they may have, and then we can get them in the appropriate lane for either the senior center, senior center social workers, crisis response from PD, or maybe there are other agencies that we can put in place to help. People are afraid to ask for help, sometimes because they think that we're immediately going to tell them they have to move. We know that people want to age safely at home in their place, right?
do.
So let's do it as safely as we can. And there are some amazing resources that can fix some of those things, oftentimes little to no cost. But if you don't know that, you're sitting over there in fear, but every time you fall, that could be life-threatening for you, and we need to fix those things before it gets to that point.
That's a really cool resource. I didn't know that the city offered that.
So our Home Safe Home program is free. We come in and do assessments in the home. We help you identify those tripping and falling hazards. We are actually going to be employing what's called the Right Care method going forward, which actually scores an individual on different points. The higher your score, the higher you have a risk of falling. And we need to get those scores as low as possible. We really look at the minutia. We ask about, can you dress yourself of your upper body? What about your lower body? Can you take your trash out? Who's paying your bills? Are you getting your mail? So those things, in addition to any of the other tripping and falling hazards, which can be the throw rugs that we love so much, rolling chairs, making sure that we're not creating tripping hazards by leaving things on the floor. My husband has size 15 shoes, so if they get in my way, I'm often tripping over those. Our pets are also something, not that we would get rid of our pets, but it's something to be aware of that, okay, if it's walking in front of me, then I need to make sure that I'm being careful. Going up and down stairs. I miss being able to run up and down stairs. I do not do that anymore. I always have to have at least one hand on the railing, which might mean that I have to take an extra trip up and down the stairs because I can't carry everything up or down. And those are issues that we have to address with those older adults so that they can, again, put those things in place, be aware of the risks, and fix those so that we don't, at least that we've lowered the risk of falling.
Sure.
So if anybody wants to use the Home Safe Home, do they have to be referred, or can they just call you to schedule an appointment?
So we reach out to those people who have fallen, but anyone can actually reach out to the fire department. We have a form on our website. There's a phone number, and make that appointment. It's important for us to address these issues. We start falling at age 50.
That's too young.
We start falling at age 50. Yeah, I actually had a really devastating fall for myself. And I realized, I'm like, okay, this is changing the way that I do things. When we fall after age 65, it really becomes life-threatening. So we want to make sure that we're fixing those things that we can.
Mm-hmm. Kristy, it sounds like physical fitness might kind of play into falls and fall prevention. Can you speak a little bit on that?
Well, I want to just reiterate on some other things.
Sure.
She mentioned a lot that was in the home and because the fire department's going to the home. But I think when I taught my Matter of Balance classes, what I found with these individuals were that it was also not just home safety, but it was also being aware of surroundings. A lot of it was looking out for curbs, So, and just speak to the falls. I had a fall too, same thing. And you realize that you always have to make sure that you're looking and being aware of your surroundings, what is coming up, where I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, and sidewalks, little towns that have those red brick, walkways, they're often uneven, and you can hit that and stumble. So that was one thing. But I think the other thing was it was oftentimes if the phone rang, and I mean, now things are a little bit different, but that was their big thing was, well, I wonder if it was my son, or wonder if it was someone that needed to reach me. I have to get to that phone because I don't want to miss that phone call. And then they're upset that they've missed the phone call. So it was a matter of getting to the phone quickly and doing things. I think oftentimes for me, even the fall that I had was like, gosh, I wished I had been doing this. Or if I had looked ahead, or I was preoccupied. Same thing I think in our cars when we're distracted. It's that distraction of not being aware of what's around us, what we need to prepare for. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just that constant awareness. Once you've had a fall, you're that much more attuned to what I need to make sure I'm doing differently.
Sure.
So it was lots of those kinds of conversations in the classes that we had is what happened. They were very active adults. Oh, in fact, I remember, I'll never forget, I had a gentleman who was playing like 18 rounds of golf, in his 90s. So for him, he wanted to maintain that, physical fitness. He wanted to maintain that active lifestyle. And so it was just him being very aware and connected to what he needed to do to maintain that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And recognizing that our body changes as we get older. Again, our center of balance is off. Being able to recognize that we need to step up on the curb. Our eyesight is poor, and we can't always tell the difference between the changes in the flooring. There's a beautiful staircase at Fountain Hills Chamber of Commerce, but it's all this one kind of light-colored wood. And every time I look at it, I always have to remind myself, make sure you're holding onto the railing because it almost looks like a ramp. It's it's all kind of that one color. We also need to consider that if we're on medications that can make us dizzy, may help us lose our balance, unfortunately. And if you're on blood thinners and you fall and you hit your head, we really need to get you to the hospital. We want to make sure that you haven't had some kind of brain bleed that could lead to even more significant changes. We also have to talk about our walkers. There's a lot of walkers out there that people are using and thinking that they're safe, but in fact, if it has 4 wheels, it's really not an appropriate walker. It's not going to help stop you from falling. It might help you keep your balance if you've got it going in the correct way, but as soon as you lose your balance, that, because it has the 4 wheels, will slide out from underneath you. So we really recommend that you have the 2 wheels and what we call those skids or skis on the other 2 places, just so you have a little bit more extra help with those. It is amazing what's out there. And again, if you're not having conversations with experts about what it is that you need, you might be actually making it more difficult for yourself to keep from falling. So we want to make sure that people really take advantage of this service. Again, it's free, so why not?
Yeah, right. What do you think are some of the warning signs that someone might be more susceptible to a fall?
Warning signs. If we're on medications,
Right.
We know that if you're taking more than 4 medications, you actually might be taking something that you don't need to take. So make sure that you're having those discussions with your physician. And again, a lot of times blood pressure medications can make us dizzy. There's 80 different kinds of blood pressure medications. So if you're not feeling well on that, talk to your doctor. They might be able to prescribe you a different type of medication for it. They call it practicing medicine for a reason. And we all respond to things a little bit differently. Speaking of blood pressure, when we are laying in bed at night, our blood pressure is, a certain level. The blood's flowing because we're prone. As soon as you sit up and you need to go to the restroom, a lot of times we have people falling because of the blood pressure changes. So you want to make sure that you're sitting up and you're pausing, stand and pause, and then move. Making sure that we have those night lights up so that we can actually see. I never want to turn on a full light, but if I can at least find my way through to the restroom. I have a black cat who likes to lay right in my way, and so I have to make sure that I see if Sunny's trying to be a tripping hazard for me. So those are things that we really need to look at. We also know that if we're wearing unsafe footwear. I used to wear 4-inch heels all the time. There's no way I'm getting in them now. It really is a muscle, I think. But people will wear different shoes and flip-flops, anything that doesn't have a back that holds your shoe on, that can be a falling hazard for you. Again, the eyesight can be an issue. There's about 10 different concerns that we have, and if you don't have any of them, you still have a 10% chance of falling. You get up to 4 of those concerns and you're at an 80% chance of falling. So we want to have those discussions with you and see what things that we can actually change to help reduce your risk.
I remember I taught the Matter of Balance classes too back in the day at Via Linda, and I remember that we would teach them how to get up if they do fall. And there's like a whole strategic way. And do we still have people get the life alert things?
Yes.
Are those helpful still?
They are. So there's lots of different medic alert type buttons that you can push. That then alerts the company. They should be able to contact you back and say, is this really an emergency and not an oops, I pushed the button by mistake. And then they can communicate to the fire department or the police department, depending on the situation, and have us respond to those. Because, if you fall, and a lot of people, it's amazing to me that they don't want to bother anyone. So sometimes if they fall at night, they would rather just lay there until morning because they think they might be bothering someone, which is actually causing you more issues within your body by not getting up and around by that. we want people to call us and get the help, right? Even just a lockbox would be helpful. That is a mechanism that we put somewhere, usually on the hose bib. You provide us the key. They ask for a $30 donation if you make more than $25,000 a year. That helps us buy more lockboxes. It's a partnership with our Realtors Association. But that lockbox allows us to be able to enter your home if you're unable to answer it. And of course, if you're laying on the floor, that's certainly the time that you're going to need help. And this helps us get to you faster without having to break down doors or windows to rescue you. So I would consider making that request as well. If you make less than that, that lockbox is free, and it's a peace of mind. We have at least 3,600 boxes installed in the city currently, and we have many of them that are entered on a regular basis because people need the help.
Do they find that on your website too?
Yes.
The information about the lockboxes?
Yes, so it's on the City of Scottsdale website. You can find us quick by going to scottsdalefd.com, but going to the City of Scottsdale website and then searching lockboxes or Home Safe Home, you can find all of that information and make the request, and we'll take care of you.
So important.
Yeah.
So I think you've touched about most of the resources, but is there anything else that we're missing about the resources that we're offering? I know at the senior centers we're still offering Matter of Balance classes that are taught by A.T. Still University. So they're pretty popular. They're at both Via Linda and Granite Reef. You can search our website at scottsdaleaz.gov and type in Matter of Balance, and you'll find that information there. But is there anything else besides what we've talked about that we're missing?
We have a lot of resources that we provide those individuals that ask us to come do the assessments. Again, the assessment is free, and you don't have to do any of the things that we ask, but it certainly would be something to consider. Did you have any other that you wanted to add?
I think when you had mentioned earlier some other things, I think we want to remain active, so we want to remain moving. And so I know that the senior centers have, and Parks and Recreation have some great active programs, whether it's swimming or whether it's, I know right now the big push is for older adults to be using weights. I will never forget, this was back in the day, this was long before the new trend of using weights, but I witnessed a study being done with the kinesiology department at ASU, and they took a group of seniors at all different levels, some who had never done any physical fitness or any sort of weights or anything, to those that had been a little bit more active. And every single one of them, depending on what their age was able to improve. And I'm talking they were in the 90s, using weights and becoming stronger. And so I know right now the big push is to start using weights, and that will help with strength and core. And so I think when it comes to falls, the idea is to be able to get up off the ground, right? And so that is all, and even getting out of your chair safely, being able to have the strength to get up and get out of your chair. And so relying on some of those programs that the city offers through our Life and Leisure magazine. And then there's also some great programs. Scottsdale Community College has a great program for older adults, specifically related to their kinesiology department. And there's just I think that would be the idea, is just to remain active. I think for everybody, if they know movement is good, that will help keep them safe.
I think people need to not be afraid of going to the senior center. I know that my mom was like, I can't go there, that's for old people. And I'm like, well, Mom.
We're the coolest senior centers around. They need to come in.
Exactly. And there's so many programs there. So even if it's not for the physical fitness, it's for the social aspect, which really does keep our minds going in the positive. Take advantage of that. It's not just, the stereotype that it's all old people that go there. It's really something that we should be using a lot younger than we actually are seeing a lot of people take advantage of it for the first time.
Yeah, we see a range of 50 plus. I mean, we have a 102-year-old, and he's still walking around. He comes and plays chess every day, or not every day, but every Thursday. It's just amazing to see what people can do if they keep active, and how far they can come.
Take advantage of
at any
resources.
age they can start to.
Yes.
Well, I think that's all we have today. I really appreciate you guys coming in. This topic is so important and so informative, so I appreciate your expertise. Thank Thanks for joining us today on The Vintage Voice, and thanks to my co-host Greer Albaugh for being here.
Of course.
And thank you to Kristy and Lori for being here and providing your expertise. We hope you all learned a lot of important information about fall prevention today. And we'll see you next time on The Vintage Voice. Stay vertical, Scottsdale.